Madam Deputy President, I rise tonight to talk about the proposed Section 117 direction by the Minister for Planning regarding development, quote, near the Canberra Airport. This proposed direction is causing a great deal of concern for many residents to the north and the south of the Canberra Airport in the 20 ANEF contour. The 20 to 25 ANEF contour is an area which in most parts of Australia and all other parts of Australia you are able to develop residential developments. In some cases they're subject to noise amelioration, but the government is suggesting that these areas should be prohibited from further rezoning of land for the purposes of residential accommodation to increase residential densities in any of the areas where the Canberra Airport's ANEF exceeds 20, or for the purposes of childcare centres, educational establishments, health services facilities and so on, where the ANEF of the Canberra Airport exceeds 20. The problem with this Section 117 direction is that it is inconsistent with national standards for the rest of Australia, and many residents in our region feel that they should be subject to exactly the same rules as the rest of Australia. It is entirely reasonable for the Minister, upon receipt of an application for a development in the 20 ANEF, to consider airport noise and the future development of the Canberra Airport when he considers those applications. But to put a blanket ruling over the entire zone is inconsistent. It's a little bit like suggesting that the government would ban denser development at Hunter Hill. It's the same point of Hunters Hill. It's the same point on the airport's ANEF zoning. My concern about this was expressed to the Minister in a letter that I wrote to him on the 7th of May, where I did point out that this was inconsistent with national standards, that it was based on Canberra Airport's projections for their ultimate capacity, which have them at 282,000 movements a year, about the same as Gatwick Airport in London, and that the draft would impact on the ability of existing owners of property to seek approval for new residential development. The Minister has responded to me, but reiterated the points which were made in an ad that the government put in the paper, which I feel was slightly misleading, where it said, quote, landowners within this noise contour will retain all their existing rights under current state and local planning instruments. Now, to the extent that someone already has approval for something, that's right, but what it would do is prevent them from seeking rezoning. I've had a number of residents of the Fernley area near Googong who have had a meeting recently concerned about this proposal from the government. These people are concerned because they bought large areas of land and they did feel that in the future they may want to apply to subdivide it. At the moment this is a rural residential area, but in a few years' time it will be very close to the Googong development, which will have 7,000 houses or so. So it may be that some of these people want to in future divide their land. One submission put in from the Hartleys said, when we purchased our 40-acre property, it was our intention to subdivide when the land became too much for us to handle a large property in our later years, which are fast approaching. Preventing subdivision outlined in the airport ANEF would severely impinge on our rights. Another one said that our land value will go down because of this. Subdivision was always part of our long-term financial planning for retirement. This proposal will not be beneficial to our future financial security. And that was from Amanda and Michael Doyle. Now, nobody has a right to expect that an application for rezoning will be approved, and that's quite clear. But they do have, under the existing planning rules, the ability to make that application, and that's being taken away by the government. And that's why I feel that the Minister's assurances that this is not taking away anyone's rights are not correct. This draft decision has also been opposed by the Urban Development Institute of Australia and by the vast majority of the 50 or so submissions that have gone in to comment on this planning proposal. It is also opposed by the current local member, Mr John Barilaro, who has said publicly to residents that he is opposed to this proposed Section 117 direction, as has the federal member for Eden Monero, Mike Kelly. It's a shame that this is being put forward. There is a lot of people who see this as being part of a deal to try and ameliorate for the airport the decision to approve Tralee, which I strongly supported. It's not necessary. A number of the areas covered by this are a long way from the airport, and certainly the residents of the area that I've mentioned are at Fernley Park. It also applies to properties approaching in the Sutton area, and owners of those properties in that region have also expressed concern. I would urge the Minister not to make this Section 117 direction and to, at the very least, reopen it for more public discussion.
The Honourable